So, what I've started with here is this piece of parchment paper. I don't know if you can see this. I first put down a couple coats of clear coat on the top of this just to sort of get a base going. But then I went in after those first two coats and painted these little birdies. God, this camera is balls, but hopefully you get the idea. Put on the acrylic and drew in the little birdies and then sealed it down with another top coat just to sort of lock it in there because it's acrylic and it might crack and, you know, yada yada yada. So now that I've got those done, I'm gonna go into my nails with this Wet n Wild clear coat that I totally stained with some red and is useless to me. And I'm going to just put some polish, just a thin coat. I really don't want a whole bunch. Just a little bit right there. Okay. So that's going to take a second to dry, and I don't want it totally dry, but it's going to dry till it's tacky. While that's drying, I'm going over this parchment paper, and you see this little corner where it's starting to peel up? I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, you just tug on the lightest corner of the polish that you've put down, peel it up, and look at that. You've got a skin of polish with your design on it. So I'm just going to cut out this little tiny one down here. God, can you guys see any of this? Just going to cut him out because I want to put the other one on my other finger later. So now I've got this little guy. You see him? And what I'm going to do is just drop him on top of my nail, like all of him. And because it's been a few seconds since that bottom coat was put on, it's tacky dry, but not fully dry. So it's going to hang on to this layer that I'm putting over it. So now I've sort of like pushed down the center of the nail, and I'm just going to go down with my thumb and push down the rest. Just pushing it down. That's exciting stuff, isn't it? You just want to get in there and get it locked. And it's okay that this takes a while. Like, you want to make sure that you don't have any weird bubbles or whatever. And if you don't get the corners perfectly, that's okay because you're going to be throwing more polish at this in a second, so no big. Okay. Normally I'd say wait a little while until you go in and clean off the corners just because you want to make sure that it's really, really dry. But for the purposes of me not having to edit any video, we're just going to plug right ahead. So I have these cool little Q-tips that they finally picked up at Walgreens this week. It's got the flat head and the pointed head. Awesome. So I'm just going to go in and start rubbing around the corners, because what I want to do is basically just liquefy that layer that I just put down and eat away at the corners. Oops. Okay, going over here. Okay. Alright, so now I've taken off all the excess, and let's press it down, make sure I got it. The polish remover actually sort of melts the edges, so it's not totally horrible. Let me see if I get this light right on here. God, it's just way too fuzzy, isn't it? Well, I'll post pictures of the site so you can see it, but basically what it did, it just sort of melted the sides down to it, so it's all ready to go. If you're trying to do like a full wrap cover, you're going to have a whole mess around the corner of your nails. So this process is going to take a while. But because I was using a clear background on this, not a big deal. It was just a clear coat that I put over it. Excuse me. So after that, you're going to go in and put your top coat on it. I like Séché, of course. So, first step with these, super important, wrap your tips. Which basically just means go in first and put the polish on the outside of your nail like that. You see that? Just like that. And then once you've done that, that creates sort of a seal right there at your tip where you're getting all that wear. And then I go in with my top coat. Oops, that's a little too much. And lay that down. And you're all set. So, not that this camera is picking it up, that's so sad. White background. Bummer. Well, you get the idea. That's sort of the technique. And yeah, that's it. Like, it takes a couple seconds to put on. The real work is just designing the stuff in the first place and getting it onto the parchment paper. But I think it's a nifty little trick. I'm not going to use it all the time because I really do prefer to paint on my nail instead, and that would certainly last longer and hold better. But I think it's a great little tool for sharing your designs with folks, or certainly sticking stuff on this hand finally. And P.S. no picking on my hands because they're really dry and gross right now. But anyway, I hope you guys have fun with it and give it a shot and let me know how it goes.